Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who just wants to eat. It's John Levingood.
I, I, I just want to eat. I'm a man of few words, Mark. Not really, but when I want to eat, perhaps.
I started thinking about this as a joke, but you love your food. So if a bunch of burly men at a truck stop in the West somewhere, the American West, wanted to fight you, it might be on.
I
Now
mean,
you're not as limber as JCVD, but I don't think you'd be happy.
no, I mean, this is one of your more on point drop John into a movie analogy openings. I I do eat like a destructive force, like Stephen King's Langoliers in a TV movie airport.
You know that
Um,
wave in Deep Impact? That big, like I feel like that's your eating style.
that's me. Okay. But
You don't smack
yeah, it
though.
could
You
be.
don't smack. You eat very nicely. You have good eating form. You just love your food, if that makes sense.
Hmm. I mean, I take some big Van Damme-ish bites, probably.
I have a question, John. You're in a restaurant and there's this a guy from Brussels. He's 50 years old. He's been frozen for 25 of those. He's a zombie. And he's just wiping people out left and right in this restaurant. And a couple of your friends took some beat downs. Let's say your name is like J Rod or something, just something, you know, J Blaze. And you see about seven people getting knocked out with one punch each. Are you running in there?
Oh, well, only after everyone else is knocked down so that I'm running up by myself. That's usually the action movie tactic.
Yeah. So, I mean, at what point do you just run out the back?
When you are the last person left in the room who could possibly approach and fight when everyone else is knocked down, because it's funny.
Then you just run away. Yeah, because that's actually a great action beat. Like, I think after about the fourth person gets knocked out easily, I'm like, man, that was big fish, and that was Tiny Ray, and they're big dudes, and they just got destroyed.
And that little dude just did that while holding a sandwich, and he didn't even flinch, and he kept chewing when he threw that kick.
I'm gonna and see that he looks pretty flexible. I'm out of here. Like I'm leaving. I'm done. No thanks. But so what's great, John. So this is a every 25th episode we talk about the Kurt Russell movie, and every the one after that we talk about Dolph Lundgren. So 726, 751, et cetera, et cetera. This movie we've covered before in MFF, but I had a lot more fun researching it. I really dove. So I had to rearrange my garage and set up a tool thing and do a bunch of work. And I was just listening to behind the scenes interviews, and it really made me appreciate this movie more because I know it's a big daffy action film, but it made some really smart decisions. I mean, Roland Emmerich directed this. Dean Devlin wrote it. I think these are two of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren's best performances ever. I think Ali Walker's really good in this, and I think it's fun. And it was made for 23 million. And I just think this is a movie that they made some very wise decisions. Dolph and JCVD both loved Roland Emmerich. Dean Devlin wrote this like when he met JCVD, he started rewriting everything. So it was like, we got to slow down. We're hitting the stop sign. It's going 50 miles an hour. Like he's like, we need to stop. So he changed all the lines or like, I just want to eat. So he changed the lines, made it funnier. I think JCVD's never been like more open and like innocent in a role. And Dolph is just having a black. Dolph had an acting coach he brought in for this movie, John. He has 50 questions. He wrote a backstory and he laughs about it now, but you could tell he's trying. And I just think this movie is an absolute delight. I don't know about
Yeah.
you.
I think it shows a lot. Like more. I think this is more Dolph's moment to shine relative to where he was in his career than Van Damme's. Like I agree that Van Damme seems very emotionally like I don't know the term to use, but like a more emotionally attuned. But he's also playing a character that's almost childishly
And
naive.
in
I
his
think his
word,
character.
he goes, I'm a baby.
There you go. But I mean, he's a really sweet guy who gets beat on in all his movies. He's always the
Mhm.
sweet, tender guy. He's never, the better girl because that's what men do. He's more like the make love to a girl and spend the night and say something nice to her in the
While the
morning before he
saxophone
has to
plays,
go.
you know,
Right. And you see him pull up his black silk underwear over his half bare
it's
butt or
always
his
a
whole
butt
butt.
shot. Always a
Like
butt shot.
I mean, it's a trademark Van Damme,
Yeah.
absolutely, right? So, but again, yes, do we see a little more emotion in this than in his previous movies, sure. But Dolph before this, I mean, yeah, he has some cheeky lines, but he's not chewing the scenery the same way as he did in Masters of the Universe. And in Rocky 4, he's just like a machine with
Yeah.
that barely resembles human emotion hardly for a moment until the very end. So he's usually coming off as so hard, including after this. We love Red Scorpion, and that's a fun movie, but most of the time he's hard and stolid.
Yeah. Punisher.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So this seeing him have fun in kind of a not snide, that's not the word, but kind of a cruel but jerky, arrogant way, like almost like that asshole jock you knew from high school, except he's actually justified in his skill set to be so full of himself. Like he looked like he was having a lot of fun with those scenes. I can't help but to wonder if he didn't overdo it in a few of those scenes. They're like, okay, look, you're not playing the devil. You need to back it up a little bit with the ear references because he's got his
I'm
multiple ear.
all ears.
I'm all ears. Oh, he can't
Oh,
hear you now.
I
Like,
like, oh, she has nice ears.
yeah.
He's all, I will say, between 90 and 92 was Dolph Lundgren's best acting run. And I say that because it has Dark Angel and Universal Soldier, which,
Does that also have Showdown in Little
and it,
Tokyo
yes, like,
wedged in
yeah.
there?
So John,
Yeah.
so I love Showdown in Little Tokyo, and he's great with Brandon Lee. But I think Universal Soldier and Dark Angel, he showed that he could be a leading man. Like he's very funny in Dark Angel, really good in Dark Angel. And Universal Soldier, he's just like that monologue he drops makes me so happy. Dang it, the whole fucking platoon's dropping like flies. What the hell are you staring at? Do you have any idea what it's like out there? Do you? Well, I'm fighting this thing, man. It's kick ass or kiss ass, and I'm busting heads. It's the only way to win this fucking war. And these shitheads, these traitoring mother effers, they're everywhere. And Sergeant Andrew Scott of the U.S. Army, I'm going to teach them all. And then he shoots people and he goes, see, they're everywhere. It's a great monologue, man. Like I just like watching him act, John. And you could tell that he loved act. Like he drops a monologue in a grocery store and it's great.
Yeah.
This movie's fun. I really think so. I think they also made some interesting decisions. They didn't have much money. So Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin were like, okay, we don't have much money, but let's do things that look huge. So they did this Australian style rappelling down the Hoover Dam. They called it Australian style because you're facing down. And that's just what they called it. Then they had the big bus fight. They were blowing up gas stations. They had the big rain fight. But I like that the little decisions they made, even with the ears and killing them in the beginning. This movie has enough to make it have some personality to it rather than just a stock film, because I think there's enough fun ideas in here. There's a villain who wants ears. Like there's actual like solid camera work. So I kind of like that. They're like, we have $20 million. What can we do that looks awesome, that doesn't cost a lot of money? And I don't know. I think that's why Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin went on to have such a great career, is because they knew their budget, they knew their actors, they tailored the performances for the actors, and then they made smart decisions to make their budget look bigger. And I think once they moved on to, we've talked about it, Stargate, we've talked Stargate before, Independence Day, they just knew how to handle big budgets and bombast. And I like, you can watch this movie and kind of understand why they moved up because of the smart decisions they made. So I really like that about them. And it was just fun listening to them like talk about it. And they shot like the Vietnam scenes on an Arizona golf course, which makes me happy. It's just a cheeky science fiction film from Carrico who was like churning them out before Cutthroat Island. But I'm telling you, man, Dolph is so good in this. Did like watching it again, John? Did it put a smile on your face? Are you or like too familiar with it, or when you're watching it with an eye for notes? Like, how did you watch it this time around?
I'm definitely, so I haven't seen this as a full viewing, like a full watch in easily a decade. It might have been long. Like I've seen, I see 30 minutes of this like every other year of my life, but I haven't really sat down and done a full watch for a long time. So I'm watching it with different eyes anyway. And I see like that running, rappelling down the dam. And I remember that just being the coolest damn visual like
Damn visual.
ever. Oh, yeah, sure. The coolest damn visual I ever saw back then. Because like it just looks like they're running straight down that rope. And then when you've seen the movie like on and off 20 times, and then you're watching it kind of critically, not that you're looking for flaws, like you notice that it isn't like Tom Cruise sprinting down in Mission Impossible. It looks like even the stuntmen had a little difficulty making that look as smooth as they could. Like that was a difficult stunt to do. And you probably only had so many attempts to do that because of the amount of time
Yeah.
it would take to reset that. And so, like, I'm seeing the flaws, but when I see the flaws, I'm actually realizing, as if you were, how hard that was to do. So it's weird that, like, seeing the flaw in it made me appreciate it even more.
Yeah.
It's just it's a weird way to go about it, but it was just such a cool scene though too, and they really did, like you were saying, for the budget, like they didn't have a lot to work with, but man, it didn't feel like it. This felt like, boy, for the people who are old enough to remember like action movie marathons on weekends or late at night on TNT or the USA Network, and there was this phrase, we're talking like 1991 era, where it would be like, join us all day Saturday afternoon for movies for guys who like movies. And this is one of those movies for guys who like movies. There's
Yeah.
lots of fighting, there's lots of muscles, there's lots of punching people in the face, there's lots of explosions, there are some attractive women. No sex scenes in this
None.
movie, really. And the
I mean,
only
she would have been
true,
having sex with a reanimated corpse.
sure, but like
It was the
he's
90s.
a very likable
Yeah.
reanimated corpse, and he fully regenerates. I
Check me. Look for something hard.
Right. Yes. Boy, yeah, look for something hard. But yeah, we still see him naked twice, and at least twice. And then there's that really cute kind of Heidi Ho scene where they're in the hotel and the two of them apparently are hiding under the sheets with these, like, I don't know, 20-year-olds that were having sex. And after, the other Unisols looking for them leave the room and let the terrified lovers just sit there in the bed looking scared. Then you see Van Damme's gun emerge from under the quilt. He's like, quiet now. It's fun, but what's funny about that scene is that is one of the most suspension of disbelief scenes in the whole movie. Because if the camera panned back, there's no way that those two bodies are under the sheets with the two kids and it not being obvious as hell. Like it was almost like a cartoon moment, but because they did a close up shot, you don't realize it's a cartoon moment.
They have a few of those with the guy in the trunk with the ice. He's like, I'm getting back in here. Like
Sure, yeah, yeah.
there's some interesting moments of levity in this movie. I mean, JCVD's little. Like he's not a big guy. And so Ali Walker's not huge. But yeah, they would have to do a lot of work. They would have to get smashed right in there to those 20-year-olds to not be seen. Now, John, I have another question for you. Each one of these Unisols cost $250 million in 1992 money. Are they worth it?
Well, that I think that for using them as a military application, no. But as a
Science.
test, as an experiment, as proof of concept, I guess so. I do think it's kind of reckless that they were testing them like all at once and putting them all at risk at once. I guess there was some hubris there, but I'll bet that the actual lab coats would not have approved of the way that they were being handled.
Yeah, that's like he's getting flashbacks. Keep him going. He's messed up. He's fine. Like the general's an idiot. The lab coats are good. Now, here's what they can do though, John. They can swim a mile and a half in 4 minutes. Pretty good. Really good. Amazing. They can survive super cold temperatures. That's actually better for them. They do overheat, which is a problem. And they can also push like vehicles, station wagons, large vehicles, 30 miles an hour. Just
They can
on,
push it 30 miles an hour while they are filmed running about 5 miles an hour.
yeah. So it's going 30 miles an hour. So they can, in this world, they can take a vehicle and push it at least 30 miles an hour. We didn't see how fast it can go. And they can swim a mile and a half in 4 minutes.
They couldn't run a mile and a half in 4 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're fast, they're strong, they have horrible cameras attached to their eyes that don't have great footage. They can be brought back with like cold things. They're in
After
a
upwards of 4 shots to the chest,
yep.
as we saw with Rolf Mueller.
so he can come back. Let's put him on ice. I think you're right, though. Let's say, John, you and I are the government, and we find out that there's a black book thing going on, and we're like, wait, so you're saying 25 years ago, you guys took dead bodies from Vietnam, pronounced them MIA, kept them on ice for 25 years, which is an immense expense. And then you burst, like loaded them with energy and you reanimated them and turned them into obedient super soldiers that can be recharged and just need ice. Yes. I'd be like, man, you guys are going to jail, but we're looking into this research. Like,
Right.
I think that's what, right? Like that's, you guys were successful. They that's pretty crazy, John. They had dudes on ice for like 20 plus years, and then they just brought them back.
It's funny about this concept. Obviously, any two sci-fi movies you watch don't necessarily exist in the same universe unless the director chooses for them to. But I'd like to take a moment to appreciate the size and cost of the ships from Aliens, Prometheus, Covenant, all these movies where they're spending like, we'll call it trillions upon trillions of
Yes. Yeah.
dollars just for the ship to go on this dedicated space mission to try and find these some other organisms, to try and bring them back and research them for military applications, when in this these military applications are so much more safe and controllable and user friendly compared to everything that Wayland Yutani was looking into, including their highly problematic androids. They don't have many androids that go without a hitch, do they, in these movies? No, 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 no. And so you look at the huge amounts of zeros that they are throwing at these applications when they could just be working with soldiers that already died or weren't quite brain dead
Yeah.
on their home planet that don't turn into something that can kill 25 people with no problem, right? It's just it's a weird comparison here. But even if you say it's $250 million of 1992 dollars for one of them, that is so cheap for such a great proof of concept compared to what they
But Wayland
never ever
Yutani,
even successfully did in a single Alien movie.
they have. You're right. They have David. Now they had to change David, and then in Alien Covenant, David became. Let's see, who did David become? What if
Walter.
Walter? Walter's incredible, John. Like even David, you know what I love about David? Humans created David, then humans killed the people who created humans. Like he just all out massacres the engineers, which I love. But these things are so successful, so powerful, so fast, so smart. Yeah, you're right. You don't need a xenomorph. You don't. You like.
I'm just saying, and even for David and Walter, look at how many mega trillions were spent to even get there. And he still turned into a betrayal machine.
Yeah, yeah, incredible amounts of money. I love in the beginning. I think it is of either Prometheus or Covenant when Guy Pearce, Instant Covenant, when Guy Pearce immediately realizes how smart David is. David's like, okay, so you'll die and you created me. I'm immortal and I'm smarter than you. And then I love that Guy Pearce immediately is like, get me tea. Because he's like, oh no, I messed up big time.
The most successful thing in the Alien movies is Alien Resurrections, Sigourney Weaver, the
Yeah,
one
eight
that
clones.
the one that wasn't messed up because all those horrible, creations that led to
Yeah.
her that we see. And even then, she for we'll call it a million times the money that was spent compared to a Unisol, she was not as useful as a Unisol. She was a lot smarter and free thinking, but in terms of durability physically, Unisol's better as a killing machine.
So what's interesting too? Sergeant Scott. He goes insane. He killed all his people before. He killed all his people again. But he just wanted to do the mission. He was going to murder Ali Walker. Like he was like, I am ordered to go kill Veronica Roberts. I'm going to do it. And then he just had to chase him to, and he could have killed those two kids in the bed. He didn't do it. He's just going after his old buddy Luke. And I think he doesn't really even go rogue in this mission. I know he does kill those guys, but they try to kill him first. But I think with him, it's very low stakes. Like you said, yes, innocent people get killed, but it's not a world-ending thing. It's very contained, and all he wants to do is kill a Unisol who went rogue, who's a traitor. So I kind of, yeah, I think even listen, a lot of heads are going to roll for this project, but they were quite successful. The other guys didn't seem to be too. Now, John, I know they weren't there to know what's happening, but you have a super secret program where you're gonna reanimate dead bodies and turn them into super soldiers. Are you going to take a soldier, a large man, a large Swedish man who went insane, murdered everyone, cut ears off, and wore him as a necklace? Are you going to use that guy for your program?
I mean, I'm not going to choose them, but in the defense of the lab coats, they didn't know that.
Yeah, because the people at the people in Vietnam were like, they just died, like just MIA, send it to them. So yeah, they didn't know that. Yeah, and I guess they kind of swept it under the rug. That guy's a jerk in the
I find it
beginning.
interesting that this is like a super secret program, but they send them in to rescue these damn hostages. And when they send them in, they send in, I'm gonna get his name wrong. It's like Rolf Mueller. He was actually in
Yeah,
like
Ralph
Beer
Muir,
Fest.
GR
Yeah, he was
seventy
in
six.
Beer Fest. He was in the Conan TV show with Schwarzenegger's endorsement. This guy, though, is larger than Dolph.
Yeah,
He's about the same size, if not an inch taller, and he is more massive, even at his older age here, than Dolph ever was in his life. He goes in as a maintenance man down the hall with a camera, just so they can take stock of what's going on. He takes 4 shots to the chest with no bulletproof vest or anything, just solidly going into perhaps even his lungs if they weren't stopped by his ribs, other organs. And after he goes down, he doesn't stay down. He doesn't get like a little, like, Mueller, stay down, stay down. There are witnesses. No, he just rises up the moment he gets his bearings again, and all of the witnesses can see it.
yeah,
So, like, now the movie never touches on this, but realistically, at some point after those hostages were saved, they're giving their accounts to, you know, paramedics or eventually reporters at the hospital, and they might be brushed off as crazy, but they're going to have some things to say.
so what you're telling me is, but you could brush like, but guys, it was a high
Worst super
intensity.
secret program ever, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the one thing I wonder is maybe an NDA or like, listen, guys, they saved your lives. Don't say anything. Just you
Look,
didn't see that.
we know that the technology was only 4 years of movie off, so maybe they got neuralized.
Hey, look right here. I mean, that's a pretty scary thing too, John. So I mean, your people are getting killed. You're probably when the gunfire starts, maybe a lot of people covered their eyes because they all dropped. So maybe by that point, when people are getting plugged, they were just not. They were on the ground screaming. Maybe one or two people saw it, and maybe later on when they're driving home, they're like, "Wait, did that dude get four? Did that guy get shot 4 times? Did he get back up?" So maybe we're banking on something like that.
I mean, that's a big gamble for the super secret government military program. Um, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like,
What's an interesting thing about this movie too? It's not like so high concept films, Snakes on a Plane or Terminator. A robot is sent to the past to kill a woman, and another guy
is
comes
Snakes
to
on a
protect.
Plane high
Yeah, so
concept?
high concept is what's Snakes on a Plane about?
Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah, so that's a high concept movie.
Okay.
And is just low concept and high, just flip it. Flip whatever you think.
Okay.
It's like F stopped. But so high concept. This movie's not really high concept because listening to Jean-Claude Van Damme, it tried to explain it to people. They had a hell of a time. It's like this movie is about two guys are Vietnam soldiers. They kill each other in Vietnam. They're brought back to life in a super secret program. They're become like mercenaries, and then they both get their memories back. And one guy tries to save a lady while he's being chased by the there's it's a lot of explaining for a movie, if that makes sense. Or it's just
Look,
about two
this is
sober
this
soldiers
is
trying
the
to kill each
tale
other.
of two reanimated patriots whose nom shock overcame modern science.
There it is. I mean, it's just, but I loved watching him try to explain it. Like he was on Arsenio and he like took off his shirt, which I thought was pretty funny. Like Arsenio had him take off his shirt. He's like, "Why? Like, people love it. I got to work out." But yeah, it's a pretty high. It's would you call this a high concept movie? Like it's quite hard to.
Funny, it's actually very simple, but it's
Very
not
simple.
simple to explain.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
You watch it and you understand exactly what's going on, but when you try to explain it, it gets a little murky. And then, but then he
it,
rescues a reporter who try, and then they go here, but then you realize he has parents and doctors, and there's a conspiracy. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is just a well-paced movie. And you have the opening action scene, then you have the dam action scene, then you have the chase scene, then you have the hotel scene, then you have the supermarket stuff, then you have the gas station, then you have the big chase scene, and then you have the final fight at the barn, which with the greatest grenade throw and then yes of all time. So like
it's
the
a
act,
huge number of action scenes, by the way.
yeah,
Now that you're saying, or let me rephrase, it's a huge number of action sequences,
yep,
like not just scenes. There's a lot to this, and what they say, this was like a $20 million budget back in
2023.
1992. And but see, like I didn't when I'm hearing that it's $1992, to me, I thought that was a good budget until I literally heard Roland Emmerich say, we did it with almost no money. We had $23 million. I'm like, oh, I thought that sounded like a lot, but apparently not.
Let's see, 23 million in, but they filmed it in 1991 today. US inflation calculator. Let's see.
If someone had a student loan, they'd know that that's $1 billion.
So let's see. Let me plug this in.
Doing the calculations.
All right. So that's like 72.8.
That doesn't seem like a small budget to me. It's not an Avengers film or a Mission Impossible film, but those are mega budgets.
Yeah.
It seems okay to me.
Yeah, that seems let's see.
Although I will say, no matter what budget they had, there's a lot of explosions and a lot
So
of
I
great
just checked out
action.
another one. It said a 54 million.
Okay,
But
like
that
but
now
yeah, this didn't
it
look cheap though.
it's worth, yeah, so 54.5 million. I found a different inflation calculator. And I mean, listen, but also Roland Emmerich did Stargate and Independence Day in 2012. So maybe this is kind of what they were thinking. But still, I mean, you know what is expensive about this movie, and this is what we kind of have to think about. It's all on location. There's a couple set days in LA, but they're in the middle of nowhere in Phoenix. They're on the Hoover Dam. Everything in this movie took a lot of time. If you think about like that's a lot of time to shoot that bus fight. That's a lot of time. It took 2 weeks to shoot the final fight. The bus chase took 3 weeks. The Hoover Dam thing that took a couple weeks of planning and pre-pro. So I think the expenses came in of shooting out in the middle of nowhere, putting everyone up, going out, blowing stuff up, and like I think that's where it was the location shoot, and I think that's why it got so expensive. If that makes sense.
I was wondering about the lab tech truck that they had.
Mm-hmm.
That thing, its sides would open and elevate like it was a transformer starting to transform. And it didn't look like a model. Like it looked like they really did that. Like they modified something with like a garbage truck like arm on each side.
I mean, they definitely built that because remember when it opens and then it looks good though, doesn't it? Like it with
Very
the
good.
sides. And also, they had Vic Armstrong doing the action. I mean, this is a guy who, I mean, let's see, let me name. He did Thor. He did Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon. He did I Am Legend, War of the Worlds. Great. He did Blade Trinity. He did Miracle, John. That's a movie we talked about for Kurt Russell. World is not enough. So he was doing Bond stuff. He was the second unit director on Starship Troopers, Johnny Mnemonic, Rob Roy, Terminator 2, Last Action Hero, Universal Soldier, Double Impact, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, um, Total Recall. Like, so they had one of the best guys probably in the world of second units doing the action. But I mean, it's fun. You know that chase scene when Dolph is throwing grenades into a school bus and they take forever to blow up, but at least it's fun in the fact that like Dolph's trying to get that dead body is a great driver, by the way. I just want to put it out there. I don't like even in death, that bus driver is great. But at least it's fun. Like he's sitting there screaming, "Are we having fun yet? Do you want to play catch?" So at least there's like a good time to be had with that. With the gas station when it blows up, I think that means something. When the hotel scene happens, they get the tracker out of them. So I think with all they get arrested. Okay, John, Luke Devereaux's $250 million, but about 1,000 cops sneak up on him.
At the end, yeah.
Remember that when the bus leaves and
Yeah.
there's
And
probably
then there's
100
just all
cops.
those cops are just there. Yeah.
It's a great sight gag, but that's the stealthiest police have ever been. But I think that's what's needed to catch him. But
Yeah, especially rural desert sheriff's department people who see no action ever, probably.
oh man, we got somebody. But I guess if we're thinking about it, we have the opening action scene where they both die. That's an effective scene. Then they're brought back as zombies at the dam. Great scene to show what their effect, like what they can do. Hotel shootout. He gets the tracker out of them, gets some ice, so it makes sense that they have to stop. And then I think it's smart that they keep having to stop for ice because you can stop and have an action scene. You can stop and get gas. You can. So I think the action scenes are quite propulsive in this movie, and I like that. I think there's a lot of them, but I'm not saying they're all unnecessary, but I think there's a reason why each one happens, and that's just good writing.
Sure, yeah. And you were talking about how certain things have meaning. I feel like that does fall apart a little bit in jest when we are at the rainy barn fight scene and we are introduced to Unisol roids, which which is almost like the Super Mario Brothers Power Flower in its effects, where you go from an already super tough, pain receptorless warrior who can get shot and not care to the warrior who can catch the other warrior's punch and squeeze their hand and twist their arm and throw them through a barn door 20 feet away like they are Thor.
Yeah, there's a lot of uh uh punch catching in this fight.
Punch catching and
Throwing
20
people.
foot throwing.
Yeah, I was gonna say 25 feet, but
Sure.
Scott takes Luke and throws him at 20 to 25 feet.
It's all credible when you have Unisol roids,
Yeah,
Mark.
that's true. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
and by
point.
the way, when I say Unisol roids, if you're rolling your eyes and you haven't seen this, if you saw the size of that syringe, holy crap. Like it hurt me just watching the scene when they would jam it in their chest and inject it into themselves.
Yeah, they're straight up doing roids. It's crazy. But
And it doesn't last very long. It lasts about 90 seconds, it seems.
and it's the classic JCVD fight scene, isn't it? Remember when I wrote that post for Movie Films and Flicks about how every JCVD fight scene is the same, where like he always starts the fight off getting beat up. He's always beat up.
Mhm.
He's like the villains are always being like they always so I wrote a post called "Analyzing the Poor Decision Making of JCVD Cinematic Villains." Bloodsport. Chong Li has the fight won and then just completely caves. And Double Impact when he's fighting Moon, like Moon runs at him with a barrel because he just like Moon's winning this fight with ease, but then he gets really addicted to like hitting JCVD with barrels and he gets electrocuted. In Kickboxer, Tong Po starts the fight out like a world killer and then just completely falls apart. Like he doesn't block. His punches become crazy. Basically becomes a human punching bag. Cyborg Fender. Remember, like I don't know, like Fender's just flexing the whole time, and then he wins the fight, but then he just loses eventually. Attila starts like
From Lionheart, yeah.
yeah, Attila and Lionheart. He's just throwing open hand slaps. He hurts JCVD, never capitalize on it. And then he just gets kind of tired and falls apart and he waits till JCVD comes back. The Quest with Khan, same thing. Street Fighter with Bison, Death Warrant with Sandman, Universal Soldier with him. Like I love that every fight scene with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't know. I just
I'll say
love
there's
that.
one very distinct difference that I noticed in this movie from any other Van Damme. No jump spin kicks.
None. Wait,
He does a lot of jump kicks. He never does his trademark jump spin kick, which is also trademark repeated no fewer than 2 times back to back to back when he's defeating his opponent.
now I heard them say since they were fighting in mud and it got really wet on set. I mean, they could have done it in the barn, I suppose, but they said that the mud changed a lot and the slippery floors changed a lot. It wasn't like ideal, but he could have delivered one. Well, there really wasn't a chance for him to deliver a spin kick prior to that.
He did it against Fender
Yeah, that's
three
true.
times,
Yeah, in
twice
the mud,
repeated at
in the
different
rain.
angles with different
Yeah.
cameras. I'm just saying, but that's his thing.
Mhm.
It's not just that he does a jump spin kick, but that the jump spin kick is recorded with three different cameras and you see each different angle as if he hit the guy three times in a row when it's really with the same jump spin kick.
I mean, I mean, it's good filmmaking though. Keep it cheap. I kind of like that.
I guess so. I
Cyborg.
was waiting for the jump spin. Like I was sitting there thinking, like in my brain, there has to be not even one, but three tandem jump spin kicks, and there is not one.
We need to talk about Cyborg one day. I love
Not
Cyborg.
one.
I love Cyborg so much.
It's a great movie. Has that not been covered ever by anyone on
I don't
the
think so.
in 500 and like
I
50
bought a
episodes?
really fancy edition of it too. So I'm like, I might as well bust that out and watch it. But John, how do you feel about Lundgren's performance? You know, we've been spending a lot of time with his movies lately, and even before that, we watched a lot of movies. Where does this rank for you? In like, is this top tier Lundgren? Is this medium tier Lundgren, or is this
It's
just
not top tier Lundgren centric action. It's actually far from it. He's capable of a lot in terms of fight choreography, and he executed, in my opinion, very little in terms of fight choreography. There's a lot of like just big hit knockdown stuff, but it's technically not much effort was put into that. It looks good. It's just not. There's nothing
what about
technically impressive.
performance wise?
Performance wise, it's again, it's probably like his best. If I say that He-Man compares, it compares in a totally dissimilar way, just because that's so fun to see him play that role. But yeah, I think that in terms of actual acting, yeah, this has got to be his top tier.
Yeah, I agree. And okay, I have a question about Rocky 4. He's a physical presence, but is that a great performance? He's
It is a
good in
great
it.
performance. But there's different kinds of acting. It's
Okay, so let's do his top four. I think right now it's Rocky 4, Universal Soldier, Dark Angel. What else could we add in here that you think like what else like what do you think he could like not oh McCreed 2 he's really good in. I mean he's just kind of that again. Like what let's see, I'm going through his list. Not the Expendables movies. I mean Day of Reckoning, he goes for it, but that movie's just insane. Not in the name of the King, Two Worlds, where he just wears a little scarf. Command Performance, he's pretty good, but he's like the world's greatest drummer.
I haven't seen that one.
Red Scorpion, he's great, but I don't know if that's much of a performance. Johnny Mnemonic,
No,
what you know what? I'm gonna do it, John. I'm
Johnny
going.
Mnemonic. Okay, Johnny Mnemonic. He chews the scenery, but he doesn't have a lot of
What
scenes.
about Showdown in Little Tokyo?
Maybe I haven't seen that in a really long time, so
Oh, it's
maybe
great.
that it's an interesting role.
Or I mean, Master of the Universe, he just
I
doesn't
might
have
say
any
Master of
depth.
the Universe though. I just kind of enjoy that kind. Not it's not silly, but it's not silly.
I think we're kind of struggling. I do think is for me, if we're doing top tier, I guess there's only three then: Dark Angel, Universal Soldier, and Rocky 4.
That could be fair, yeah. And they're very different performances too.
I mean, maybe Creed 2, but he doesn't really do much. That's not his movie. He's good in it, but it's not his movie. So I'm gonna take those three. I like that.
Yeah, I'm on board.
So it's a great proof of concept. Like, what are some moments you love in this movie? Are there other things where poor Huey gets killed in this? John, those guys never last. Huey eats it. The cameraman. What
I
do you
mean,
think about Ali Walker in this movie? I think she's very likable.
so what's interesting, so my wife did not watch this with me, but she when I offer, I always joke whenever we're about to do a podcast, I'll say, "Honey, we're going to be watching, Final Destination 5 or, whatever the movie is, Smile." And she's like, "Yeah, no, I'll pass." I'm like, "Okay, but, I just want it on record that you turn that down. So you have to live with that regret. I'm not a part of that decision." So I let her know, like, "Honey, we're going to do Universal Soldier, so I'm going to be watching that tomorrow." And she says, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah, really." And she says, "I've probably seen that like 100 times." I'm like, "Okay, do
What?
you want to see?" do you want to see it a 101st time? And she's, well, no, she had stuff she had to do around the house. And, but whenever she'd walk through the room while I was watching, she'd stop and she would be like, oh my God, I remembered this about the scene. I remembered that about the scene. So there were a lot of things that she liked. And one of the things that she really liked that she remembered is when Sergeant Scott is about to execute and the gun was out of bullets. And the way that he says, it's empty, it's empty. And apparently she and her friends would just like say that, like hanging around drinking beer, in the basement when your parents are asleep. And like they'd be out of, they'd be whatever they're making, you're making drinks and all of a sudden it's empty. And they'd say, it's empty. And they'd be quoting Universal Soldier. So yeah, and when she said that, it made me instantly love that scene even more.
His line delivery in this movie is crazy, isn't it? We were gonna do a
Um,
Dolph moment draft, but like, remember when he throws a grenade and blow like Ali Walker would have blown up, but he goes yes, like he's
in
really.
US, sorry, you finish your thought
I just
first.
love when he's just like yes. It's
He was
hilarious.
really happy. It was a childlike vigor when he was having fun with those. So, but my wife also said, like, oh yeah, and that actress, like, I can't believe I never saw her in like much of anything else. And she looked her up and she was just in a whole lot of television and not really much major, a lot of, one season arcs and shows that were never huge, or a lot of one episode of a show role, so a working TV actress. But she was shocked. She's like, she was like really pretty and she was really capable in that movie. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. And I couldn't think of anything. We looked it up. And so, yeah, she didn't seem to have, she had a working career, but not a thriving career. It's like this movie was her like acme.
Yeah, and she's great in it. I mean, Sarah's right. Like your wife is right. Like it's just, and she's funny in this. She's smart. The cigarette bit when she shows up late, and she's not like overtly. She's her own person in this movie, which I like. And
Yeah, she's not just like like an accompanying sex kitten almost, which is what some of these characters sometimes turn into.
yeah, exactly. Like but you know what's kind of nice? She actually has to get him on ice. She has to cut out his tracker. I think it's pretty funny. Like they play that scene for jokes. Like it's hard and like JCVD has to get his butt shot. I guess during one of the scenes he was nervous and he looked at Roland Emmerich. He's like, "Is my butt in focus?" I think you probably heard that on the doc. But yeah, like he was really worried about his butt scene. But yeah, like even that scene is funny and I guess she finds a way to help. She gets on the phone. Like I don't know. I like that. And I think, yeah, she's not just with him as a third wheel. Like she's actually contributing. I don't know. She just pops in this movie too.
It's
And
the
I
other
think,
reason this movie is unusual is that she isn't a love interest. Van Damme like always has a love interest, even if there's not a
yeah,
sex scene. Like because Kickboxer, there's no sex scene, but there's an obvious, sincere romantic care developing. And this that doesn't really happen. It's another outlier. No jump spin kicks, no love interest.
yeah, like Bloodsport, you have the love interest. Nowhere to Run, love interest.
I mean,
Maximum Risk,
generally
love
sex
interest.
scenes too.
Yeah, Time Cop.
He usually has warm romantic sex
Like with Mia
scenes.
Sarah and Time Cop.
Warm romantic, like these are sex scenes that are made for women.
Well, he said that too. He said, so when he was on the Arsenio Hall or Jay Leno, I forget one of those shows, I was listening to a bunch of interviews. He's like, listen, he's like, women have to get naked in movies all the time. So why can't men? And so he's like, women go see my movies. And so women want to see my, you know, women want to see me naked. Also,
Dude,
you know,
when he was doing the splits in the beginning of Double Impact, that was like the camera shot in the original and the remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre as jean shorts are walking up to the house, just like framed on the butt.
and it's kind of funny. I watched two movies in like 2021, 2022 was like Potato Dreams of America, and then another documentary called Flea, where both of the male characters realized that they were, gay or bi by watching JCVD movies because there's so much butt. Like Dolph JCVD was out there really, um, he was giving pretty much everybody what they wanted. And I think that's kind of great. Like I think it's funny. He's like, women have to get naked. Why shouldn't I? He's like, I got a good body. I'll show it off. So I kind of like that it was in his contract to have that scene. Not Hard Target though. Hard Target, does he have a do he and Yancey Butler get together in Hard Target?
Wasn't there a scene? Am I thinking of the wrong movie? Wasn't there? No, I'm thinking of Nowhere to Run. I was going to say there was
Oh
a
yeah,
scene in a
yeah,
shower,
yeah.
but that was Nowhere to Run. Maybe not. I haven't seen that in ages.
There's a scene in Hard Target where JCVD pulls back his duster, and instead of there being a gun on his hip, it's just his leg, and he just starts kicking the crap out of people. It's amazing. But I don't know, I just think it's funny that JCV will do that. He was out there, man. He was butt kicking and showing his butt
He
in
had the butt
movies.
for it. Like, you know who else had the butt for it? There were a few actors who really had the butt and who showed it in numerous movies. Mel Gibson, all
Yes,
starting
yeah,
with Lethal Weapon, right?
yeah,
But we've seen it other times too, right? And then Sylvester Stallone.
yep.
It didn't matter if we were doing The Specialist or Demolition Man. Like he has no problem showing that tone butt. Like he is perfectly happy for you to see it and just be a gasp.
Yeah, they were definitely liberal with their butt shots in the 90s.
Not everyone, like Schwarzenegger. I think Schwarzenegger only ever had
Like
one butt
like
shot. I think that was in Red Heat
Terminator.
or
Well, in
something. Oh,
Terminator,
Terminator,
he's
Terminator.
yeah,
Right,
but
that's
I
right,
think all of
Terminator.
them. But yeah, it's like I think that was a prerequisite for 1990s action stars. A good old butt shot. But I just love that it was his thing though. Like JCV was like, it's my thing. You show it, whatever. And then I learned more about his past and how he moved to America, and he put in time to become a star. And I kind of like that about him. So it's his career's fun to watch because he was living over in Belgium. He started a gym called California Gym, and he was doing karate and ballet. Then he moved to the States and he met the Canon film guys, and the rest is history. So I kind of like that he had a journey to get to this thing. And I don't know. I think this is just for Dolph and for JCVD. This is just a good movie, and it. I know the critical scores aren't high for it, and the IMDb scores aren't that high, but I think for what it is, it's good, and I think the world needs that. I think the world needs fun little
Movies for
movies.
guys who like
Yeah,
movies.
exactly. And like I'm telling you though, I was really impressed with Ali Walker in this. And also, if you think about it, she had to do all the talking because he is a zombie 50-year-old who doesn't talk much. And so she had to kind of carry the scenes. And she just pops, and everyone on the behind the scenes footage said how great she was. And Ebert's review, all he does is talk about her too. He's like, I liked her. I wanted to hear what she had to say. She's great. So I don't know. I think that it was, yeah, I don't know. I like this movie, John. I know I keep saying that, but I think they made several. So I like smart decisions. Like I like movies that make smart decisions. And I think this one made some smart decisions. And what's interesting? Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin knew what they were making. This is Dean Demick's, I'm sorry, Roland Emmerich's second film, but he's like, no one wanted this script, but we read it and we're like, hey, this is a chance to make a big budget or a decent budget Hollywood film. So he and Devlin rewrote it. They had JCVD and Dolph Lundgren on board. Once they learned about them, they tailored the script towards them. And I think the final product's a lot of fun. It's it has personality. It's not. I think it ages well too because it's not over like it's not overtly 90s or terribly 90s, and there's not much to like. I don't think there's much that like dates it. So I think it's just a fun action film.
And as you mentioned before, the pacing is excellent.
Yeah.
Like stuff is constantly happening. There's almost never a scene that feels like a filler scene or that's just showing you going from here to here, here to there. Like all the scenes are, again, another word you used earlier, they're all meaningful. They're all meaningful, and action seems to populate almost every event in the movie and with a sequence. So, like, you are once this movie gets going, it's going from scene one. Like you are constantly amused,
Oh,
constantly.
and it's kind of funny because both your wife and my life well, Megan loves this movie, so I think it's quite accessible for the mainstream, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, let's
So
not be surprised though that our wives like
yeah.
a Van Damme movie where he shows his butt multiple times.
I mean, I think we've talked about this before though. He does offer something different, and I think something like I like his vulnerability. So I kind of
Yeah.
I appreciate that about him. So John, let's do something real quick. Unless you have something else to talk about in this movie, let's do a 1992 action draft, and then I'll get you out of here.
I'm just going to give a good appreciation to the fact that Sergeant Scott gets like chum wood chipped at the end,
He does. Hey,
which is delightful.
well, I forgot to ask you about this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good is this line? You're discharged, Sarge.
It's not good. It's not good. I'm bottom of the rung. I mean, you might like it. When I heard that, that's like the one time where I rolled my eyes, like, oh God. Like all the other one-liners I pretty much like in the whole movie, though.
Okay. I'll let you pick first if we're gonna do a 1992 action movie draft.
A 1992 action movie
Yeah.
draft. All right, give me 1 minute.
Okay.
I got to
There's
do
some good ones.
my requisite quick and dirty Google search. I need to rush through 3 pages just to get my bearings. Okay, all right. Okay. Under Siege.
Oh yeah, great movie.
That is hands down Steven Seagal's best movie. So good that his next best movie should be considered his third or fourth best movie.
It's so good that his second best movie should be number 3 or 4.
And I like the Hard to Kill trilogy. It's just that this is so much better than
Oh
those.
well, it's a real movie. I mean, there's Tommy Lee Jones, Gary Busey. I mean, Erica Laniak, she's great in it.
It's
But it,
July.
yeah, Tommy Lee Jones playing a harmonica just doesn't seem right. But so this is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I'm gonna take Hard Boiled.
Oh, good
Yeah,
choice. Good
that's one of
choice.
my
Okay.
favorite of all time movies.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to say you got to always bet on black. Passenger 57, Wesley
Yes.
Snipes.
Oh man, what a movie! That movie, dude, that movie's great. Wesley Snipes is the best.
Oh,
Okay.
he's tremendous.
All right. Well, I'll take El Mariachi because that movie just blew my mind, and I love me some Robert Rodriguez.
I'm boy, it's not really an action movie. It's really more of an epic movie, but it does have some truly great action scenes in it.
Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah, Last of the Mohican. Okay, it's funny how you knew exactly what I was honing in on there.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, there's a lot of action in this movie. Like
Right,
you,
but it's such a long movie and it doesn't rely on the action. Like like I don't think of that as an action movie right away.
like it's a historical epic with a
Yeah.
boatload of action, but it's an action movie. So yeah, I'm totally fine with that. What's your let's see, what is
Well, I just did Last of
your
the
oh okay,
Mohicans.
rapid fire. I'm taking rapid fire.
Is that Mark Dacascos?
No, that's Brandon Lee.
Oh, Brandon Lee. Okay, nice
Yeah.
choice. Okay, all right. Okay, let's Super Cop.
Yes, that's a good
I
one.
love boy when that movie came when Rumble in the Bronx, Jackie Chan's
Oh yeah.
first, we'll call it. It was not an
United
American
States
release, but
release.
it
Yeah.
had an American release in theaters. And I think that was his first movie that had a proper, true, like Hollywood scale mainstream theatrical release in the States. But Super Cop, man, for me, ran circles around it. And the scene where he meets that military trainer and he's like, please give us a demonstration. The fight that those two had was so fun and so long and so creative.
I agree. I mean, Tarantino brought that forth for us. I remember when Tarantino was talking about Jackie Chan, then Rumble in the Bronx got released, and then they released all his other films in the States, and I just fell in love with the guy. And then he had the big run with Rush Hour and Shanghai Noon, which is great. Yeah, he's epic. Oh man, you have a good list. I need to step mine up, John. Okay. I don't think I'm not going to call Batman Returns an action film. That's like that doesn't feel right. I'm going to go for
It has some good action scenes though.
That's just I don't know. I'm not. I don't know if I would call Trespass. I had one. I'm taking Patriot Games because I love that movie. I love the final fight, and it's just a great thriller. It's a good old school thriller. And I don't know why, but when I was 10, I used to walk around with like I don't know why I would do this, but I was like, you ain't gonna make me wear a rubber, are you? Like I would just try to speak in an Irish accent and talk about wearing rubbers. I'm not quite sure I knew what that meant at that point, but I used to quote that the time when I was like 10 years old, John.
All right. Well,
That explains me a lot. All right.
other than my other than my one epic, I have one more pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than my one epic, I've been going very martial artsy. So I'm just going to keep with that with Jet Li and do Lethal Weapon 3.
Oh, wait, he's in 4.
God damn it. Okay, never mind. Shit. I thought it was part 3. I thought it was stupid, 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 stupid. Okay, you know what? Free Jack.
Oh yeah. Okay, since you're going crazy, I'm gonna go split second. So since you're doing free jack, I'll do
Is that
split
Rucker
second.
Hauer
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he's
against
crazy.
the alien thing?
Yeah, it's incredible. These are good,
I
John. You have Under
I probably
Siege
haven't
Pass.
seen that since college, by the way.
I think I have an extra copy of it next time I see you. I do have an
You
extra
have
copy of it.
more than one copy of Split Second?
Yeah, I do.
I'm kind of confused and impressed at the same time.
I have 2 very fancy Blu-rays of it. So if you would like
Yeah.
one, I will give you it.
Have you did you do a podcast episode on it?
Not yet, but I love it. I love
And
that
yet you
movie.
have 2 fancy Blu-ray
Listen,
copies of it.
Rucker Hauer makes things so much better than they need to be. Just because he has so much personality, John. Like that Rucker Hauer just, yeah, like he's just the oddest dude, but I love him. So, oh, you have Under Siege, Passenger 57, The Last Mohican, Super Cop, and Free Jack. I have Hard Boiled, El Mariachi, Rapid Fire, Patriot Game, Split Second. This is a great list. And none of us picked under Universal Soldier, but whatever. This is a good one.
I didn't even think to pick Universal Soldier. It's
Well,
so
if you
funny.
let's add it. Do you want it? I'll let you. I could
It's
probably
better
find
without
one
it.
more.
It's better without it. It's better because
Okay.
we both want it. We both want it. So
Yeah, that's true.
let's just dispense of that. We both would have wanted that right away.
And you got Super Cop. There's some crazy movie. Hard Hunted. What is that? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about in this movie? Is there anything else you want to
Really,
cover?
honestly, I feel like we've covered pretty much everything. I feel like if I would have changed something, and I don't mean like I want my jump spin kicks or I want a sex scene. I don't mean that. I If I was going to change something, I do think that the Marvel superhero throws is was a lot more than it needed. I kind of think I would have liked the brutality if instead Dolph swung Van Damme's body into and through a barn wall, rather
Yeah.
than punching him or throwing him or kicking him and him flying 20 or 30 feet. I didn't care for it, and it felt really jammed into this movie. And that's like my one criticism, by the way. Like everything else about this movie is super fun. Oh, Mark, you know what, Mark? I've got this might be one of those like production things where it's just the equipment that they happen to have on hand. But why is it that only Tommy Lister Jr., aka Tiny Zeus Lister, why is it that he had his special modified eyesight on his right eye, but every single other Unisol had it on their left eye?
He probably had better vision in one eye.
I'm just saying it's weird to me that it's
Yeah.
only the one guy, and it made me wonder if they took headsets or something to modify to make into this prop, and they didn't have enough like headsets designed for this one side, but they had one headset designed for the other side that was like a different kind of headset, and they just made it work.
I never picked up on that, so I need to go watch this thing
Oh,
again.
it's it's funny. I'm so idiosyncratic about some things. When I saw one, two, three, four unisols cross the screen, and I noticed left eye, right eye, left eye, and then every scene after that, I was looking for it, and it's like it's always just Tommy Lister. Why is it always him? Why does no one else have that eye? And so, yeah, could it be that, yeah, he was like left-handed and shot, opposite eye, or is it that, or whatever? Just a curious thing.
I love it.
Just I just happened to notice this thing, and sometimes movies just do with the props that they have or the equipment that they have, and it might have been as simple as that, and they're like, no one's gonna notice.
And then there's John. Left, right eye, right eye, left eye. Oh, I love it. This,
And I'm just sitting there like, ooh, that's gonna be important. It's not important. It's not
yeah, never
important at all.
prompt mistake. That's for sure. I think
But
I think if
yeah.
anything, it had to have been his vision. Like, hey, we need to put this on there. Well, I got hit with something back in the day, and I have better sight in this eye, so I don't want to
Well,
have that
Tommy,
covered.
and he does have. Oh wait, you know how he has one really lazy eye?
Yeah.
They covered the really lazy eye.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, he had a detached and deformed retina in his right eye.
Yeah, they
And then
covered
and it
that
had
eye.
permanent blindness and a droopy. Yeah, so that's why they had it.
They covered that eye. That's what they did. They put it on his opposite eye for that reason. And probably all the props were originally made for the other eye, so they just jury rigged that one for him instead of making them all left eyes.
Yep, there we go.
Solved that. My arms are in the air like a goalpost, people. I'm really happy. Ole, ole,
Oh,
ole, ole.
oh man, this is awesome, and thanks for getting ready for it quick. And I love this movie, John. I had a great time researching
This is
this.
one of those movies so easy to get ready for in a short period. Because it's like when
Yeah,
you've
no,
seen
you're
a
right.
movie so many times, just one thoughtful watch and you could talk about it all day. Like,
So, okay, and one last thing I want to. Well, I'll get you out of here, but one last thing. I listen to ESPN FC. It's one of my favorite shows. If I can't watch it, I listen to the podcast. So I was listening to podcasts, and this guy Stevie Nichols was a defender for Liverpool back in the day, like one of the best defenders in the world. Coach. He was talking about watching this latest game for World Cup qualifying where Spain was playing, and Spain just absolutely ripped up the team they were playing. I think they're playing Turkey, I believe. But what Spain did was nothing fancy. They just were really great at passing and the basics and flowing. And there was a couple nice magical moments, but for the most part, all the pundits were just happy to watch a team play really good soccer. And they just flowed. And there was nothing fancy. It was just teamwork and just good soccer. And that's the way I look at Universal Soldier, because I think it was just a bunch of people making smart decisions. They maxed them up. They brought in Ali Walker, who was great. They knew Dolph's strengths. They knew JCVD's strengths. The action scenes made sense. Vic Armstrong delivered some fun action. There's a couple, I'm sure in the Spain game there's some fouls, so there's a couple fouls in this, but this isn't anything fancy. They just made some really smart decisions, like flipping the guy around on the dam and having practical locations. And I like that. I like that. There's really nothing in this movie that they're not trying to do anything, like they're not trying to reinvent the wheel or develop a new style of play for soccer. They just took a playbook and they called themselves a mini Terminator, and they made a good movie. And I like that. I like when films don't try to get crazy and fancy. And listen, some of the most movies got crazy and fancy, but what I'm saying is I appreciate when people just make a good action movie with smart decisions. If I know it's a weird combination of things, but I think they both work because I just like the smart decisions that this film made, and it wasn't trying to do anything other than be a good, smart action film. And I appreciate that from a filmmaking perspective. So yeah,
yeah,
I just wanted to
I'm
put
I'm
it out there as a
I'm
random
on
thing,
board.
but it was on my mind. So
I
where
think
can
that's what makes these movies something that you can rewatch and you're not necessarily like, rolling your eyes at it. It's you're just with it. It's
yeah.
just like, yeah, yeah, instead of, oh my God, that's right. That's so stupid. I love it. You're not really saying that's so stupid. I love it. Or laughing, being like, that is so dumb, but you love watching. No, this is just awesome.
And why are they playing with the high line? Why are they passing this? This guy's not passing that. Just no, this is a good movie, and it's good soccer. So, and also, hey, before we get out of here, John, where can people find you? And people should go read your review for the monkey because I love the monkey.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah. So John's Horror Corner, you Google that, you're going to find me, and you're going to find links wherever you find me. But all those links lead to movies, films, and flicks. And I've got a little tab on that website. And yeah, The Monkey was the last thing I reviewed. That was a weird movie to write about, but I really enjoyed it. Well, I guess we're not here to talk about The Monkey, but
All right,
but yeah,
but
John's
yeah,
Horror Corner. Google
yeah,
it.
John's Horror Corner. John's Horror Corner. All right, so John, also listen to all of our other Dolph Lundgren episodes. So thank you so much for joining me, John. And for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for John Levingood, this is Movies from the Flicks. See you next week.